my sidekick, Dobby, and today I went to NOVATeen Book Festival. Dobby had to stay here, unfortunately. And I'm gonna show you what I got. So, I couldn't make it for the whole time because I needed to not leave him here alone for that long. So I showed up about 2 hours late. I think I accidentally got the orange wristband because there were people there that already had yellow, so I feel like they found one more orange one, and I'm sorry to the people who I got to go before because that was weird because orange came before yellow. But anyway, I brought my Shadow Hunter bag with me that I got at BookCon last year. I love this bag. And shout out to my friend Kate who got me that bag. I got there, and funny story, Chelsea Palmer, who is a wonderful booktuber, I had met her at this event last year, and we had been chatting about seeing each other at the event again. She was the only person that I had been actively talking with about the event this year. And I get there, and we meet up at some point, and I was walking with her to her car to get her books before the signing part, which I'll come back to that in a moment, and I happened to park right behind her. What are the chances? So I was literally I didn't even notice at first. We were at her car, and I turned and I was like, that car looks really familiar. Oh, that's my car. Stupid moment for me, but it was very, very weird. Anyway, I got to see some really cool panels and some really cool people, and I will have some pictures up here of some of the different stuff I got to do. NOVATeen is it's a little bit different than other conventions, whereas normally I have to choose between signings or panels at any given time. At NOVATeen, they have all of the panels first and then all of the signings happening at once, which it is a smaller event than a lot of other ones. So normally the reason some other events don't do that is the lines would be absolutely ridiculous if nobody had to choose them over other things they wanted to do and see. Because this one is a little bit smaller, they have everything in one room. There were plenty of authors there, but there weren't as many as are at some other events. It's a little bit more controlled, and it was not insane at all, actually. I was very impressed. But anyway, at the end there was a closing keynote from Libba Bray, and I took some videos of that. That woman is amazing.
Up to me and asks me to dance, and this is this has never happened before. And I'm looking at the purses you're on your own, behave. So this is a new wave club, it's the 80s, and we're all doing the 80s dance, which I don't know if you've ever seen, but it looks like you can't decide which foot to stand on. It's no, it's better over here. So we're doing this 80s dance, and, I am being Johnny Cat. And at some point, he says to me over the music, say, where are you from? And I said, well, I'm not from the States, actually. I'm from England. And he said, no kidding. Where in England are you from? I said, well, from London. I'm just here on holiday. On holiday and in hospital were two things I had gotten from PBS, but in hospital didn't seem right at the time. So I'm I'm on holiday, yeah, love it. And he says to me, man, what a coincidence. My parents live in London.
Oh no.
My dad's British.
Oh no.
Really? Where in London do you live? Because I know it like the back of my hand.
Oh,
and I'm
no.
oh, shit. And I said, a suburb? And he said, yeah, but which suburb? And he's, just reeling him off, man. And I'm like, excuse me, I've got to go to the loo. Thank you. And I'm like, I go over to Jeannie and I tell her the story. I'm like, oh my God, we have to go. She's like, what do you mean we have to go? We just got here. What did you do? So I'm telling her about Johnny Cat and how I pretended to be British, and now I told this guy this, and I can't very well go over to him and say, like, yeah, I know, I was just kidding. Listen, actually, I live up the road. I'm not British. I don't know anything about London, but I'm really fun. Would you like to date me? I'm not psychotic at all. And Jeannie looks at me like, well, you haven't got the sense God gave an animal, Cracker. She's like, we're not going. So I had to spend the rest of that night kind of hanging out by the loo and making myself scarce until the guy went off with somebody else. And the moral of the story could be, don't pretend to be a British cat litter person, but really it's be yourself. Because it's simpler, because who else are you going to be? And because in truth, all the weird, oddball, awkward stuff that we think is icky and not enough is exactly what connects you to the weird, oddball, awkward humans. This is hard to do in a heavily curated world. Mama, life has just begun, but now I'm going through it all away. That was beautiful. So we finally made it to the end. We made it to number 12. I was able to actually count all the way to 12. I was so proud of myself. Take that, Mrs. Scott. So, number 12. Sing your song into the universe. So many years ago, I was doing research for this book I wrote called Going Bovine, and I came across this article on black holes. And black holes, of course, have such an intense gravitational pull that nothing can escape from inside them. Not light, not that one sock you lost. Except that it turns out that that is not true. Because black holes emit a sound, a note. Black holes are singing. B flat, to be exact. That also happens to be my favorite note on the piano because it feels unresolved, like your ear wants to make it a B or a C or maybe even down to an A. It's like, it just hangs there though, like, no, something more is coming, something awesome. Also, by the way, Bohemian Rhapsody is in the key of B flat major, so I also feel like the universe is validating my choices.
So I already knew from YALLFest that Libba Bray was wonderful and so talented, and she's a freaking rock star. But I don't know. I unfortunately have never read any of her stuff. None of it has been super interesting to me. But just hearing her speak, she's funny, she's wonderful, she might not be the best influence. She has wonderful stories and wonderful advice and so much to say, and I love her to death. After the keynote, it was finally time to go to signings. I brought 2 books that I already owned, and I bought 3 there, which is kind of against my rule. I try to only buy 2 books at events, but there were 3 authors I didn't have any books for that I wanted to buy, and one that I already have a book signed from. First up, I brought Rain and Delilah's Midnight Matinee by Jeff Zentner. This is a book I got an ARC from. This is my ARC that I got at YALLFest this year, and I had been hoping to read this before its release day, but I failed. I've been failing a lot recently when it comes to reading things by a deadline, but I got it signed, so that's fun. He's like, oh, you managed to get an ARC, and I'm like, yep, that's this. Oh, I have not read any of these books yet, by the way. This next one hurts that I haven't read it yet, though it just came out. The Everlasting Rose by Danielle Clayton. I saw Danielle Clayton and another author that I'm about to talk about do a panel together, and they were hilarious and wonderful, and I was already huge fans of both of these humans. But The other author that I will talk about in a second said something about this book being heartbreaking in several places, and now I'm kind of terrified to read it. And I told Danielle that when she signed it. But I'm terrified, but I'm so excited. Super, super high priority read, by the way. Like, next. Probably. Maybe. We'll see. That other author I was just talking about, this was his debut novel, though I have been following him for years. Anger's a Gift by Mark Oshiro. So I was so excited to go to Mark Oshiro's signing line because, I'll try to include a little clip from it. 6 years ago when I hosted the online convention, Victory Tour 2013, I interviewed Mark Oshiro for that, and he even read a tiny little bit of actually one whole section of one of my only Hunger Games fan fiction, and enjoyed it.
I'm scared. Okay. Wait, I want to read the intro. So it's a step into Peeta's mind during various parts of the Hunger Games series. What was the boy with the bread thinking while we were in the head of the girl in the braids, as he seems to call her? Okay, I don't want to read that part. Okay. I may still not quite understand Katniss the way I used to think I did, but I can't wrap my head around this. How could she vote for a 76 Hunger Games? No, I can't deal with that already. After everything we've been through. Oh, how upsetting is that? Oh God, that I actually hadn't talked about how upsetting that scene is. Super upsetting in the books. And hey, Mitch, he's seen even more than we have. How can he stand by and let it happen again? I'm shuffled out into the city circle with my fellow victors amongst other people that have been deemed of some importance. A moment later, Coin steps into the balcony. You're not writing this. Oh my God.
So when I got to his line today, I was like, hey, remember when you did an online convention 6 years ago and you read a piece of a fan fiction? Yeah, that was all me. It was my convention. It was my interview. It was my fan fiction. And he was like, oh my gosh, I totally remember. It was a special format and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, and I got a picture with him and he's wonderful. Yeah, and he thanked me for the memory.
Yeah.
Spoiler's over. Oh, that was good. That was great.
Next is a book that I've heard absolutely amazing things about and I needed to pick up. The Field Guide to the North American Teenager by Ben Phillip. I actually don't know that much about this, though I did see a couple panels with him on it today. And I've just been dying to pick this up because everybody's been talking about it and it has the best reviews. And now it's signed. Fun stuff. And finally, this is a book I actually had on my countdown list to buy the day it came out, but I didn't. I don't know why, it just got away from me. And that is The Darkest Star by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I did audiobook the entire Lux series, and this one is kind of a continuation of that. It's a companion, I believe. So it follows a girl that's mentioned in the Lux series, I believe, and who's with a guy that is definitely mentioned in the Lux series. So I need to read this because I enjoyed that series and I haven't read any of them in physical form. So this should be fun. And now it's signed. And I talked to Jennifer L. Armentrout a little bit about a brand new tattoo that she has and a little bit about my plan for a tattoo once I publish a book, which may or may not ever happen. Both the book and the tattoo, because I hate needles, but I feel like that's a worthy cause. Anyway, yeah, this is signed. That is all I had this year. Most of the authors I knew there I'd already gotten autographs from for previous books, so I didn't have to bring them. I did forget my Black Enough copy for Danielle Clayton to sign, but that's okay. I think that is it. This guy is happy to have me home, even if he's not acting like it right now. It's late, we're sleepy. I have a lot more events coming up and other things happening. I would like to do a bookshelf tour very, very soon, so look forward to that, and I can talk about all of the books that I have signed and not signed There are very few not signed, honestly, but I'll talk more about that next time. Anyway, if you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter at ReaderGonnaRead, just like my YouTube channel. And subscribe by clicking down below or up there. I will talk to you next time. Bye! Hey, Ellie and Dobby here. Like the video? Come subscribe. Do it right now. Click it.